Hello, thank you for coming by again. It's the end of October. It's really chilly here. That's why I have on my turtleneck and my scarf. It's amazing. It's gone from 90 degrees to now it's like really cold. So anyway, things are rolling along, as I've said. Halloween is almost here. First of all, before I get into Halloween, there's one thing I wanted to go over with each of you, because I just spoke to someone who called me who was thinking of joining staff with Scientology. And he had a very good question, which is, do I have to go? I signed these papers, do I have to go? And here's my opinion. I'm not an attorney, so I can't give you the legal answer, although any attorneys are welcome to pop onto this website and give their legal opinion. But my opinion is this. No, they are not legally binding anything, any of their papers. You know, they can say, you promised this, you promised that, you know what I mean? But they promised a lot of things too, and they don't keep their promises. So if they don't have to keep their promises, I don't think you have to keep your promises. And you know what? If you don't want to do something, you shouldn't do it. Because basically, my opinion is if you join staff, head on out. It's no bigger deal. I know they make it into this huge deal. Like you're blowing, you're quitting, you're, this horrible person for leaving. But the truth is, the real bottom line is it's nothing more than it's like walking across a line in a road. That's it. You're on one line, you walk across, you're free. That's it. That's all it is. It seems like it's huge. They make it sound like it's going to be huge. You might lose some of your friends. But you know what? You got to look at what is the cost of freedom. I mean, I know Hubbard had, what's the cost of freedom? But, he couldn't stick up to it. He couldn't. If people didn't like him or Scientology, he'd declare him a suppressive person, just like me. Then no one within the Church of Scientology is allowed to speak to me, or they will be declared. And there's thousands of other suppressive people, thankfully, out here. And we're all having a pretty good time. So if you've signed something, check. You can join prepaid legal and you have access to tons of attorneys, and you can ask them, is it really, you can fax them the contract. First of all, get a copy of any contract you sign, ever. Always have a copy of it. Secondly, have a phone number of who the person is that you signed with. Okay, so you can contact them, and your attorneys can contact them, because you know what? They ain't going to do that. That's just how it is. It's not a legal binding contract, in my professional opinion. Okay, get a legal thing if you're worried about it, but I have yet to see them ever come after someone who's signed a paper. I mean, make our day. Take us to court for signing one of your papers. I remember when I was wanting my money back from the American St. Hill here in Los Angeles. I had paid money to them for literally probably 20 years, right? They had about, I think about $10,000 of my money. That, if you look at interest accruing and stuff. Okay, so now I leave, I get declared. My only terminal, as it says on the back of your SB Declare, her only terminal, let's see if we can see this. Her only terminal is the International Justice Chief via the Continental Justice Chief. Now, would any of those people talk to me? No, not at all. They wouldn't answer letters. They wouldn't answer phone calls. It's a bullshit line. You know what I mean? There's nobody there that's going to help you. You're toast, right? So that's when I joined Prepaid Legal. And Prepaid Legal, once I explained the whole situation in detail, money on account versus money spent. They wrote him a letter within 24 hours. The Office of Special Affairs called me and said, we got your check. And even then, they still tried to, but the point being on the contract, they faxed over this huge contract I was supposed to sign to get my money back. And it had, you can't speak on the internet, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, no, I'm not going to do it. And I called my attorney, and she said, well, if you want your money back, you got to sign. That's just the way it is. You have to sign. That's it. And I said, no, wait a minute. You've never seen a waiver like this. I'm going to fax you this waiver, and then you tell me. She called me within 2 minutes saying, you know what, that is not only, you can call them back and tell them your attorney told you that that's an illegal waiver. No, you're not going to sign it. And then we worked out what I was okay to sign. And I did get my $5,000 back. which, it didn't have the interest that they'd made for years, but at least it was something. It was something. And there you go. So be very, very careful with that. Don't get snagged up by them. It's just part of their spider web that they try to trap people in with. Sign here, sign there. Read what you're reading. Read what you're signing before you sign something with them. But I don't think it's a legal binding thing. You can check with an attorney to make sure if you're worried about it, but I really don't think so. I don't. I mean, all of us have left, and we signed a whole bunch of stuff. I signed a thing that I have to pay him whatever, $1 zillion, if I ever told him about the top secret mafia. Anybody. I couldn't tell an ethics officer, an auditor, David Miscavige, any of the executives of Scientology, anybody. And I looked at my auditor who'd gotten me into this thing, and I said, Bill, this seems very, very weird. This is like the old Guardian's office days. And he looked at me and he said, Tori, look at me. Would I do something? Do you honestly think I'd do something that's criminal? And, I went, okay, sign on the dotted line. So, will they ever give me even a copy of that? No, hell no. Because the whole operation was basically very sleazy, very wrong, not okay. So they don't want anybody to know about it. They won't admit it. No. So speaking of that, it is almost Halloween. And hello, I grew up with my mother every Halloween being a witch. And I bought this lady right before my mother was passing away in honor of her. She's a really cool witch. Look at how long she is. Check out her legs. And it goes all the way up to here. And here's her little feet. I don't know if you can see them in the light, but they're really cool. She's got really, really long legs. She's really nifty. Anyway, that's my little witch in honor of my mom. But here's a picture of her I can show you. This is Zini Rettop, which is her name. There she is as a witch. When we were little kids, every year she dressed up as a witch. And she was fun. She really was. She'd have the kids come in. She'd say, I know you have a song. Because they'd be like, trick or treat, trick or treat. And she'd say, okay, well, come on in. You give me a trick. You show us a treat, and we'll give you, you show us a trick, and we'll give you a treat. And they'd be like, what? And she said, you can go in the music room and, do a song or a dance or read a poem, whatever you want to do. You can do it. And you know what? One by one, they'd come out, break into songs. We used to stay home to watch them. It was so much fun. She was a great, great mom. A lot of fun. So I hope you guys are all celebrating Halloween and having fun with it and enjoying it. Speaking of enjoying, again, sorry to keep pitching this, but they're so great. This one, My $1 Billion Contract by Nancy Maney. Really, really good. And I'm reading Blown for Goods. Also, fantastic read, both of them. This is by Mark Headley, and it's at blownforgood.com. I'm sorry I don't know exactly where to... I think you can just type in on the internet, My $1 Billion Contract, and you'll find where you can get Nancy's. But they're good reads. They really are. They're very, very inside stuff. If you've ever wanted to know stuff, they're in there. Okay, so get those books. Anyway, have a very happy Halloween coming up. Enjoy the chilliness if you're here, and take care.